What's going on, everybody? Frank from 5 AM Ramen, and I am in Nara Prefecture. For people outside Japan, Nara is probably best known for ancient temples, deer roaming around in the streets, or at least in Nara City. But Nara is also known for fantastic ramen. They love their ramen down here, and their ramen is on the richer side too, which is often what you see in Kyoto as well. But we'll be diving into the very best Nara ramen shops, and I'm going deep for the first two bowls, deep in Nara Prefecture, starting now.
Welcome back to 5 AM Ramen, your portal to the wonderful world of ramen in Japan. I'm Frank, and I live and breathe ramen. This is the 9th episode in a Big Kyoto Ramen series. We've been all over the place in Japan's Kansai region. Wakayama, Nara, Kyoto, and now we're back in Nara. We're grabbing 4 amazing bowls out here, 2 in Nara City, and 2 a little bit more on the outskirts. All 4 bowls are top ranked, part of Tabelog's top 100 shop list in West Japan. Nara City was Japan's capital in the 700s. We'll take a break at one point and highlight one of its most famous temples. Okay, so the first shop I'm visiting today in Nara is more on the outskirts, Mendokoro Toichi. They're an hour south of Nara City, located in Kashihara City. It's a bit of a commitment to get there. Their signature ramen is on the richer side, like a lot of Nara bowls. Here's my recap of Toichi.
Okay, recap of the first bowl at Mendokoro Toichi here in Nara. And yeah, starting off rich, but not that rich. This is a typical case of a soup that is pork and or chicken bones and also fish. The soup here is chicken based, so you get nice richness coming from that, but also sharper fish flavors. I would say though, it wasn't nearly as fishy as this style sometimes can be. It was very well balanced between the two, and even though there were fish notes, they weren't coming at you from all directions. The soup was also very smooth, a little bit frothy in terms of the texture, and I think that also led to it feeling quite gentle in flavor and texture. Thick udon-like noodles that are kind of slippery, not quite as soft as udon, still some firmness, but you do see these noodles being used, this sort of mix style, and they went well with it. I think the mizuna on top there were a nice refreshing contrast as toppings. They had a beautiful egg, and the chashu was super soft. So overall, a fantastic bowl. I can understand the hype. Despite it being Saturday and there being quite a few people in front of me, only waited about 20 minutes, and I think that's because they have such a great system in place, very efficient. There's one person outside basically taking tickets from people after they bought them from the ticket machine, telling them to line up, buy the ticket first, then get back in line, and then there's the chef inside. As soon as I walked in, my ramen was there on the counter, ready. So they make it work. But basically, they're a well-oiled machine for being such a small place as well. Very impressive. Quality bowl overall. I can totally get why they're on the Tabelog Hyaku Meiten. And one thing that I really appreciated was that both those two in the team, the chef and also the person running back and forth from outside to inside, they were both very friendly, very professional, let's say. Not always the case, but sometimes, yeah, you can get a ramen shop with a little bit more of a grumpy sort of, let's say, chef or owner, but not the case here. Super friendly, and that to me just makes the ramen taste even better. So, great bowl overall at Mendokoro Toichi. And we're grabbing another one just a few stops away here in southern Nara. And what I believe they got going on here is an even richer soup. Let's go.
Next up is ramen shop Men Leads Nakano. I'm making my way north back to Nara City, and this ramen shop is in Tenri City. On the way back, we've got a foamy top for the soup, which is chicken, dried fish flakes, kelp, shiitake mushrooms, and other veggies. Let's see if this modern bowl is to my liking.
Okay, ramen shop number 2 in Nara, Nakano Leads. And I was very fortunate, there was no line. I walked right in and got my ramen relatively quickly. It was a great bowl, and we're seeing a pattern here, definitely with the foamy, frothy sort of broth. And hiding below that foam was a sweet soy sauce. They really went well together. That sweet soy sauce in a sort of sticky, syrupy form, along with that rich foam there. Beautiful collision course. Not that many bowls out there that do it this way, but it does remind of a place in Osaka that does sort of a chicken mousse ramen, but very similar with the frothy top and also a sweet seasoning below. I very much enjoyed the bowl. Thinner noodles than what we had previously, but quite hefty, and some nice mizuna to freshen things up and provide a little bit of crunch, in addition to really soft, rare, as they call it, sous vide chashu pork. Excellent bowl, and I think very symbolic of what you get over here in Nara. Now the sun's about to set and I'm making my way to our third ramen shop of the day, and this is gonna be a heavy one. I have to mentally prepare.
I decided to take a little break after those two bowls, grabbing donuts and coffee and recharging all my devices. These little moments allow me to recuperate and get my ramen bearings back. I then decide to visit Todaiji, which is probably Nara's most well-known temple. It's a massive wooden structure, also known for its many deer roaming about. Okay, back to ramen. Ramen shop number 3 today is Gamushara, also known as Buta no Hone. Whereas the last shop did sleek and modern ramen, this place is embracing a certain pork bone messiness with its ramen. Let's get my thoughts on Gamushara now.
Okay, back at the hotel now, settled in after a long but fun day in Nara, and a heavy one at that. And I actually ended up walking from ramen shop number 3, Buta no Hone, all the way to Noroma, the last shop. And that was about half an hour. Yeah, it was about 0 degrees out, but I had a nice big down jacket on. I had long johns on as well, don't tell anyone. And I think just because that bowl at Buta no Hone was quite heavy, I felt the need to walk. Anyways, let's start there. Buta no Hone, the third ramen shop. Now they're part of the Mutepo ramen group, and Mutepo does some heavy ramen. Super porky soup. You can smell the pork bone funk, the stink, even when you're just a few meters away from the ramen shop. Those fans are pushing out that smell onto the street. It's not really my personal cup of ramen, but people love it, and I can understand the appeal. It's heavy, and maybe on a multiple ramen day, it's not something I was like really excited about, but I do enjoy that style from time to time. It was a heavy and tonkotsu ramen, but with a pretty strong soy sauce seasoning, let's say, that also gives the soup that brown color. It wasn't salty in terms of the soy sauce like Ieke or Yokohama style might be. This was a little bit different. This was definitely more about the pork. It was nice to have the customization there. You basically could choose how firm you wanted the noodles, 1, 2, 3, how thick you wanted the soup, 1, 2, 3, and also how much negi you wanted, 1, 2, 3. So I went for the regular amount of negi, also the right in the middle, you could say, for the soup, and then just for the noodles, because I'm taking photos and videos, I went for more firm, or katame. And those noodles were definitely firm. I think that was a wise decision. I really liked how big they were, how springy they were, extra springy. And even though the soup was heavy, the noodles were thick, the bowl itself wasn't that big. The amount of noodles that were in there, I feel like that was one of the quickest bowls I've finished in recent memory. I was in and out. I was like, I'm done already? And I eat very quickly. Quicker than I should, actually. I eat like a person in Tokyo. When I eat, I'm conscious of taking up that seat for the ramen shop. But when I was in there, it felt like I was in there for a minute in total. Not the case, but it felt like it. Anyways, great shop, literally a hole in the wall. Everyone arrived there by car except me, walking, taking the bus. But for what it was fun, and I'm glad to have crossed it off the list because they are also a Tabelog Hyakumeiten ramen restaurant. Now our final Nara ramen shop was Noroma. This is often in the top 3 of Nara ramen ranking lists, if not at the very top. And where we just had pork bone ramen, this was all about chicken bone, specifically tori paitan. So basically the chicken's version of what we had previously. So because it's chicken, it tastes a little bit cleaner. They also weren't trying to make it so thick and rich like they were at Buta no Hone. It was a little bit more, let's say, refined, but it did have a rich flavor. Not overly rich, not overly thick, as tori paitan can also get sometimes, but cleaner, more refined, but it did have a strong gravy-like flavor. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was my favorite tori paitan out there, but I love how the bowl looks. I think just the presentation there, I really appreciated that. Noodles were thick and slippery. Seems to be a theme down here. And yeah, everything screamed quality. And bear in mind too, these are heavier ramen. When you're more full, the final bowls of ramen, they're not gonna stand out as much as maybe the first one. So to be fair for for the third and fourth one, that's probably what we're getting to. But I think the fact that these were all heavier ramen and these are towards the end could play a big part in my summaries of them now. But great bowls overall here in Nara, and what's great too, I think, is each of them were a little bit different. We had a bowl that was very well balanced at the first place, but a little bit more about fish. Second place, I liked that frothy, foamy texture along with that sweet soy sauce. It's something very different. Third place, it takes a lot of skill to get the soup like that porky and that concentrated. And last but not least, doing the same thing with chickens in a more gentle and refined way, that takes some skill too. And I loved how that bowl looks, just how it's presented. And that being said, we're gonna close out this ramen video, but we're not done in Nara. I'm gonna be going back to Nara for more ramen. Got a few other places to cross off the list. I wanna properly close out Nara. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this Nara ramen video. And if you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and also let me know which of the 4 has got your name on it the most. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, Frank from 5 AM Ramen signing out.
Thanks everyone for watching 5 AM Ramen, and make sure to tune in to the next episode where we go really deep in Kyoto. I'm talking countryside from one of Kyoto's top ranked bowls. I end up eating 2 bowls there too. Thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next episode.